Huh. Welcome on today's episode, Good Vibes Soul. It's a pleasure to have you aboard. Interesting child of God. Here, we are good vibes souls on a mission. And on this mission, we would require help of other unique, wonderful souls like yourself. Because, my friend, the mission is to spread love and peace to the whole world. Virtues that are great and wonderful if all humans embraced. And my friend, not just that, we shall also be talking about honesty and forgiveness. Other very important virtues, my friend, and also repentance, asking for forgiveness from our Maker, the creator of everything. Now, good vibes, child of God, for us to be on our mission and not just be on guys on a boring mission. We have some interesting videos that we react to. Videos from across the whole world, from other interesting sources like yourself. These videos, my friend, have different informations from creepy things, work stuff, videos of people talking about their creator, animal videos, you name it. All types of videos, my friend, which we go through them together on still on our mission. But my friend, on this great mission, we are always guided by our creator, the maker of everything, whom, my friend, we always talk to before we start the show. At this point, we have not reached to talking to the creator. But first, I'll share with you something from this book. This one, name it the Book of Wisdom or the Guide of Life because of the words that are in it. Great wisdom indeed. This is what he says. It's a short story. He told her, "Go, call your husband and come back." "I have no husband," she replied. Jesus said to her, "You are right when you say you have no husband. The fact is, you have had 5 husbands, and the man you now have is not your husband. What you have just said is quite true." "Sir," the woman said, "I can see that you are a prophet. Our fathers worshipped on this mountain, but you Jews claim that the place where we must worship is in Jerusalem." Jesus declared, "Believe me, woman, a time is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. You Samaritans worship what you do not know. We worship what we do know, for salvation is from the Jews." Ha, my friend, it is quite interesting. From verse 4:16 going down, that's in the book of John. And we are almost living in those times the book is talking about. Let's talk with our Maker to be guided on our mission. Dear Lord Father, thank you for your child, today's viewer. Thank you for your love, Father. Thank you for the videos that we have today. Dear Lord, as we react to these videos, may you fill us with your wisdom. Help us to understand them, dear Lord, and to spread love and peace to the whole world through them. Forgive us our sins together with your child today's viewer, Father. And as we reach the end, may we have seen your blessings in our lives. In your holy name, Jesus Christ, we do pray, trusting and believing. Amen. Let's dive in, child of God. Let's spread some good vibes.
After watching this video, you may never use an emoji again, and for good reason. The reason that all of our emojis look the same across all major communication platforms, Android, Samsung, Mac, Microsoft, is because of this company called Unicode. And they have standardized emojis and little icons across the board. Well, previously on their website, one of their members was the Sultan of Oman. And you may be thinking, what the Sam Dam does Oman have to do with Unicode? Well, the Lesser Key of Solomon is a black magic book with 72 different sigils summoning demonic entities. A sigil is a symbol that has a lot of power attached to it, and the crafting of these sigils is considered to be one of the highest magical arts. Do you know how many face core original emojis there were? There was 72, just like there were 72 sigils for summoning demons. Now, the original emojis that came out were very sigilistic, black and white. But we have the rendered version here now, and you see the resemblance is uncanny. And the original rendered and the sigil for summoning demons. And we have this one, this one, this one, another, boom. So basically by using these emojis, you are essentially using a sigil for summoning demonic entities. The question is, what effect does this have on us, and why was it very important to get a uniform emoji across the board for all of us to use? Follow for part 2, comment your thoughts below.
So for hair loss, an excellent mixture for hair loss would be probably a quarter of a cup of coconut oil and a quarter of a cup of castor oil, and then rosemary. So with the rosemary essential oil, you're probably looking at about 6 drops. And what the person does is they massage that into their scalp. Is what they usually put into shampoo, sometimes even put it into toothpaste.
But be very mindful of the fabric that touches the skin. So there are 3 chemical fabrics that are made out of plastic, and that's polyester and acrylic and nylon. Now men, it's not usually a problem. They have cotton underwear, cotton undershirts, cotton jeans, cotton shirt. It's the ladies who like the pretty things. Now one of the most sprayed crops in Australia is cotton. But if you wash them and hang them on the clothesline, it detoxifies it because the sun purifies. And also hemp is another natural fabric. Wool, it's very soft. Wool breathes. That's one of the beauties of it. So again, natural fibres. Many people are taking chemicals into their body because of what's touching their skin. You get a hot sunny day and you start to perspire a little bit, then the pores open and the fabric warms up and you start to absorb the chemicals out of that fabric. And it is one of the contributing factors to breast cancer that we're seeing today is the bra, because so often it's made out of chemical fabrics.
The basic tool for manipulation of reality is the manipulation of words. If you can control the meaning of the words, you can control the people who must use the words. To give you an example, when you are purchasing a property, you have to sign a contract with your lawyer. Even though the terms and conditions are written in English, it can seem like gibberish to most. This is because it is written in legalese format to confuse those that are signing the contract. It's all just a manipulation on linguistics, and that is the con. A con is to deceive someone by lying or tricking them into believing something. The word mortgage is derived from the old French word which means death pledge. That's why it takes you approximately 30 years to pay it off. About the same amount of time for someone that has been sentenced to life imprisonment.
Everything is generated through electromagnetism. The electromagnetic torus field is the true atom of this physical universe. What you're seeing here is the pattern of electromagnetism. This pattern creates the symbol of the seed of life. Looking down on this torus field, you would see the seed of life, which is the seed of creation. They tell you this is the real atom because they want you to believe the universe is only physical. It's actually holographic. Everything physical comes from the metaphysical, spiritual side of creation. The ancients understood this, but were not being taught electromagnetism today because it exposes the true cosmology of Earth. This is why you see Jesus pointing at his heart, because your heart is a vortex which produces this electromagnetic field all around your body. This can be manipulated through emotion, which is energy in motion. Your emotions shouldn't be reactive. They are a creational force to manipulate energy and your electromagnetic field. They've lied about everything. We know nothing.
Ever since Megan Thee Stallion made her comeback in 2024, there has been something off about her. Her entire image became much darker, and it could be seen in all of her recent videos. If you have seen any of the videos Megan has been putting out this year, you might have noticed this demonic serpent theme used in all of her videos. This is the same imagery she continued to show in her latest music video from Amushi. Again, the central theme for this music video is Megan being a serpent who devours men. In the video, we see Megan Thee Stallion transform into a serpent and devour a man whole while she's supposed to be hooking up with him. She does the exact same thing in the very next scene, showing herself transform into a giant serpent and swallow another man. A lot of this serpent imagery ties back to the occult and its connection to ancient Rome. In ancient Rome, the serpent goddess Hangita was associated with witches, snakes, and magic. In Lanuvium, which was close to Rome, a big snake was declared a god, and they offered sacrifices to it. This is exactly what Megan Thee Stallion is showing us, depicting herself as this snake goddess who devours the men she encountered. Some would say just like she did to Tory Lanez after he got involved with her. In another scene of the video, we see Megan Thee Stallion dancing in front of a red moon, which is again another indication of occult practice. Like I exposed before, occultists practice something called moon magic. In moon magic, the red moon represents a rebirth and a great change. This was the same imagery shown to us at this year's BET Award, with Will Smith rapping inside of a magical circle with a red moon behind him. All this imagery is connected. She is showing herself as a serpent.
Now I know why it's called Eyes Wide Shut, because that movie shows you something about real life, how these people in power really live. And they don't mind having to kill a prostitute as part of the ritual. They couldn't care less. They rape and plunder, and then after they're through with you, then they will kill you. And then they take off the mask the next day, and they're your top attorneys, your politicians, your doctors, and all of the cream of society. But at night, they belong to secret societies, put on masks. Nothing has ever frightened me, more legitimately frightened me as an adult, than Eyes Wide Shut. And I got to the place in the movie where that very sophisticated European guy is dancing with Tom Cruise's wife, or the girl, and he's playing this young girl. And when I saw that, I turned it off, because I know where this is going. I already know. This guy is not looking for sex and with a young girl. No, this guy is devious. This is human sacrifice kind of stuff. This guy is really bad. And I knew it. I could just tell by the music and tell by the look on this guy's face. I don't want to see this. This is dark stuff. This is demonic depravity.
How many of you women thought Gloria Steinem was doing you a favor? Gloria Steinem is a communist who created the concept of feminism to destroy American family life. Feminism is not good for you. Being a responsible woman is good for you. Being a good person is good for you. Whether you choose to do it in business or in the home doesn't make any difference to me. And yes, you should get equal pay for equal work. And yes, you should have the vote and all of this other stuff. But feminism is war between women and men. It was created intentionally to destroy the basic unit of freedom in this country, and that's the family.
The first symbol that I want to talk about is the headdress that the Pope or the Bishop of Rome wears. That symbol goes back at least 5,000 years. This strange and interesting headdress that the Pope wears is impacted by a god named Dagon. Dagon was a fish god. We have a god who's half fish and half man. So now we see the Pope's headdress, but when turned, you then see he's actually wearing a fish head because he's representing the worship of an ancient Phoenician god. And that very powerful mystical god is still dominating the spirit and the intellectual thinking of religion even to today.
This is the World Submarine Cables Map. I want you to think of South America as 1, Africa as 2, and Australia as 3. Notice how there is no cables from here to here or here to here. You might ask, why is that important? Here's why. The reason you will never see these cables connected is because look how far the distance is from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3, and the vast distance from 1 to 3. But Ryan, what about these cables here? Oh yeah, you mean the short distance right here? But you might ask yourself, Ryan, why is that important? Over 99% of the world's internet traffic, including international phone calls and data transfers, rely on cables. Not satellites, cables. Y'all, pull up any map of sea cables and you will see that none of these touch. Because we live on a flat, geocentric plane.
So, look at this. Take a look at the first and second ladies in the US history. Okay, this is one, Mother Jefferson. Look at her in the beginning and later. Man, this is Elizabeth K. Monroe. English people, do you know these ones? Allegedly, they are first ladies that have been there in different countries. So is it one country? Lucretia Garfield. Man, later on when they get old, they look manly. Is this normal? English people, is this how age goes on there? Oh, what goes on here? This is creepy. This guy gets old, looks like a guy who was grandmother. Now almost looks like grandfather. Anyway, it's good vibes. These are all wonderful souls. But how? What happens? Even the face structure changes. It looks more like a man. No. It's like good vibes soul here, even grew muscles. My God, this is crazy. Is a leadership trait? Oh, this is crazy. My friend tells me that this is a trait that they are taught to be a leadership trait for them to be manly. Okay, that's a good vibes perspective. Leave yours, my friend, in the comment section. Do you think
Company called Ambrosia claims to do, and they just opened a new facility right here in the Houston area.
Rekha Mudaraj spoke to the founder to find out how young blood works. It's a controversial startup. Ambrosia is the brainchild of Dr. Jesse Karmazin, and right now there are 5 clinics located across the U.S. Karmazin says 150 people have already gone through the process, and several of them have even done it a second time.
My name is Jesse Karmazin, and as you heard, I'm the founder of Ambrosia, and we're a company interested in making you young again.
Dr. Jesse Karmazin believes the fountain of youth is filled with blood, young blood, preferably that of a person under the age of 25.
We know that as you get older, your stem cells aren't replicating as well as when you were young. And this leads to most illnesses.
He explained the science behind it during the Superhuman Summit in 2017.
And when they were sewn together, he found that the old mouse, which received the blood of the young mouse, became young again. So its gray hair turned black. It could remember mazes better. Its heart pumped better. In fact, in every way, it became young again.
If vampires are the first thing that comes to mind, Karmazin, in a phone interview with us, explained the process doesn't involve blood in its entirety, but plasma, the white translucent component that remains after white and red blood cells and platelets are removed. The results?
Their wrinkles are better. Their skin has a better color to it. And furthermore, on the medical front, we're seeing improvements in patients with symptoms of Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's, diabetes.
And by measuring biomarkers, he told me people have also shown improvements in cholesterol levels and inflammation. There is no published data to prove these claims, although Karmazin says scientific evidence from his clinical trials will soon be available. In the meantime, people continue to sign up for treatments on the company's website, which cost $8,000 for a liter of plasma, $12,000 for 2 liters. Just another sign that the promise of youth is a booming business.
If you're vaccinated, you don't have a risk, and that's the reason why we say it's as simple as black and white. You're vaccinated, you're safe. You're unvaccinated, you're at risk. Simple as that.
I mean, I got infected about 2 weeks ago. It was my 3rd infection, and I had been vaccinated and boosted a total of 6 times.
Freemasonry is hiding the true world religion, Satanism. He goes on to reveal how every initiate must swear a vow of secrecy to never reveal the secrets of Freemasonry to anyone whatsoever, under penalty of having their body severed in 2 and their bowels burned to ashes, their throat slit, and their tongue torn out by the roots.
This is the sign you do upon entering and exiting the ritual room while facing the Grand Master. It stands for throat slit, and it goes like this.
They use symbolic gestures to flaunt their secret religion, such as the sign of the Master of the Second Veil, or the Hidden Hand, the sign of silence. As you move up the ranks of Freemasonry, the oaths of silence for taking each degree become more brutal, having your heart torn out and fed to wild beasts, your head struck off and placed on the highest spire of Christendom, destroying your business and reputation, and hanging you in your own home. Masonic rules clearly stipulate that the Lodge has the authority and obligation to uphold these mandates and penalize any member who violates them. Masonic rules also warn members from inviting the vulgar and profane. The profane is what they call the uninitiated, anyone outside their secret order. As one climbs the ladder of power in Freemasonry.
So this is where we are. You got sports, religion, medical, government, legal, education, media, entertainment, Netflix. All of this is meant to program you to keep you down here. And then you got the Masonic Order, Illuminati, you got the Vatican, Jesuit Order, and they all follow. And then they also worship. This is why I tell you not to eat meat, because who they worship? The Canaanites, cannibalism. You're participating in cannibalism. That's why you should not eat meat. And that's why you're not supposed to eat meat if you want to ascend to the highest.
Israel has to wage this big war, which is already planned long ago. And the territory of the state of Israel will dramatically expand. And the Palestinian problem will be solved because they'll be exported out. That is the massive human rights crime. But Israel has a PhD in deception. Because it's Dajjal at the back of this, the mastermind. Israel has to wage her big war and make it appear as though she was only defending herself. How is Israel going to launch this big war and yet get away from being perceived by the whole of humanity as the aggressor, blatant aggression? You have to come with a good strategy.
After 9/11, George Bush said, "You're free and freedom is beautiful, and you know it'll take time to restore chaos and order out of chaos, but we will." Problem, reaction, solution is that same thing, order out of chaos. Works like this. Stage one, you covertly create a problem. It could be a terrorist event, it could be a war, it could be a run on a currency, whatever suits the solution you want to provide. You then tell the public through an unquestioning mainstream media, overwhelmingly with honorable exceptions, the version of that problem that you want them to believe, i.e. Lee Harvey Oswald killed Kennedy with a bullet that turned corners. You want people to believe, you have to create a false villain to hide the fact that you're really behind it. You want the public at stage two to react with fear, with outrage, and words to the effect of, something must be done, this can't go on, what are they going to do about it? At which point you, who have covertly created the problem, glean that public reaction, or at least the acceptance that something must be done. You then offer openly the
Mandela effect just dropped. By now, everyone has heard about these two astronauts that have been stuck in space for more than 6 months. But so many people are claiming that they swear they remember these astronauts getting rescued already. And this is actually blowing my mind because I myself vividly remember seeing a video probably about a month ago. This lady on a stretcher right after she was rescued. And I remember the video saying something along the lines of she was being taken to a hospital because her health had deteriorated from being in space for so long. Apparently that never happened because they're still up there. Side note, how do they get Santa hats if they've been up there since spring? I have searched the internet for this video that I vividly remember seeing and I can't find any trace of it. I did do some research because this totally has me freaked out. And people are saying that it's possible we're confusing these astronauts with a different crew that came back in October. But I remember this woman's face in the video. It was her. I remember this so vividly, and apparently it just never happened. They're still up there. I don't know, I feel like I'm losing my mind. Let me know what you remember.
My husband came to me the other day with a concept that changed everything. He said there are think-to-talkers and there are talk-to-thinkers. Let me help you decide which one you are. I am a talk-to-thinker. I need to talk out loud to think. I need to externally process my thoughts. He is a think-to-talker. He will think and then he will talk. So let me give you an example. I might say, sushi sounds good tonight. That is the first idea in the conveyor belt of ideas that is about to come. I am about to list every possible option of ideas that we could have for dinner and then decide. When he says, sushi sounds good tonight, he has decided. So he gets frustrated when I then share all of the other ideas that we could possibly have for dinner. Share it with your partner.
Okay, so what do you think about that, thinker? You're a thinker.
Yeah, I know there are some people who really have to hear what they're saying in order to know what they're thinking.
That's really true.
I'm not one of those people. I don't think you are either.
I'm kind of in between.
Yeah.
I do definitely think. Some of the time I don't. Some of the time just stuff comes out. But I usually have a vague concept in my head, thinking, and then I just, quickly put it into words. But when it comes to decision making and so on, that's an interesting one. So, what she's pointing out is that folks who think first then speak can get frustrated with people who don't, right? Who, just come out with thought after thought after thought. So, that's kind of an interesting dilemma. It's a different style of processing your thoughts. But I don't know.
He sounds like he's kind of impatient with her listing all the alternatives for dinner.
Yeah, right. But I kind of like that because, for example, oftentimes you make dinner, you give me alternatives, and then I get to choose. Yeah. So that's great. You're doing some of the thinking and speaking, but you haven't made a choice. So, there's a difference between expressing your thoughts and making a decision, right?
Right.
So I like to think and talk at the same time. Is that possible? Multitasking. But I'm glad that it was helpful for her, and I hope that her partner is patient and understanding as she spins out all the different ideas that are popping into her mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she understands him a little better too.
Yeah.
Sounds like. Yeah. That was it's an interesting insight. Yeah.
Girlies, can I show you a photo of the woman my husband slept with? Now, can I show you a picture of the woman that gave birth to me? Oh wait, I just showed you.
You know when you want to test if something's hot, and so you lick your finger and go on the side, right? The reason why that works is actually not because you're being quick. It's all to do with the lick itself. And what do you know why? You'll never have to use a non-stick pan again. Let me explain. Come on in, I'll show you. This is called the Leidenfrost effect. Was that weird? Yes. This is called the Leidenfrost effect. When a liquid like water or spit touches a surface that is way, way, way hotter than it, what happens is the first bit of the liquid that touches the surface will instantly vaporize, and then the rest of the liquid will sit on top of that vapor like a little sort of hovercraft. Come have a look. Here you go, can you see? Don't judge that my pan's dirty. See, they're floating, and they're floating on the water vapour that is created by hitting that incredibly hot surface. Oh, that's good, isn't it? That's good. Right, two things. First off, your pan has to be really hot, like 200 degrees hot. Secondly, don't do this on a non-stick pan because Teflon, it kind of creates all these fumes. It's really bad for you. This is why you don't see professionals using non-stick pans, okay? However, can you shut up now? However, if your pan is hot enough and you try and cook an egg on it, what's going to happen? You're going to make your very own little eggy hovercraft. Maybe it wasn't hot enough. Oh, it's sort of working. Maybe you have to put a bit of oil in it. Oops. I'm going to fake it. I'm just going to fake it. It is working. Look, it's bubbling. Look at that. That worked absolutely perfectly. And that's why you don't see professionals using non-stick pans.
Did you know that when you wear a ring on one of your fingers, it actually starts to manifest that energy into your life? Each of your fingers have a different energy to them as it pertains to the zodiac. Starting off with your pinky finger, this is your Mercury finger. When you wear a ring on this finger, it brings more intelligence into your life. You become more quick-witted and you communicate more often. You might also find that your thought patterns are a lot faster too. Your ring finger is your sun line. When you wear a ring on this finger, it helps you push you into the person who you want to become in this lifetime. It also helps with ego. When you wear a ring on your middle finger, this is actually your Saturn finger. So the stereotype of when people are upset and they give someone the middle finger, they're giving other people Saturn. So it is supposed to bring more control, structure, and discipline into your life when you wear a ring on this middle finger. Your pointer finger is your Jupiter finger. So when you go like this is supposed to be positive in your life. Or when you point at something, it's supposed to bring growth and expansion. And when you wear a ring on this finger, it brings growth and expansion into your life. And your thumb is your Venus finger. So when you wear a thumb ring, you're bringing more beauty, relationships, and luck with finances into your life.
This is a whole note, and the more I do to it, the smaller it gets. When I put a stem on it, it's now a half note. It's gotten smaller. If I color it in the circular part, now it's a quarter note. And it's getting smaller. Again, put a flag on it. Now it's an eighth note. Another flag, 16th note. You can go on from there. Another flag would be a 32nd note. It keeps getting cut in half. Now when I put that note on the staff, I can control how high or how low the note is. Here we have 5 notes that are line notes. The line goes through the circle. And we use Every Good Boy Does Fine to learn these. So the first one is E, G, B, D, F. It's the first letter of each word. Every good boy does fine. These are the 5 line notes on the treble clef staff. If the notes are between the lines, they're called space notes. The spaces between the lines. And for space notes, we use face. F-A-C-E. From bottom to top. Face rhymes with space. Every good boy does fine rhymes with line. Works pretty well. Left or right does not matter. This is an E. This is also an E. It's all about how high or how low it is. So what is this? Well, the line goes through it. It's a line note. So we're going to think every good boy. That is a B. What is this? It's in between the lines and the space. So we're going to think space, face. F-A-C-E.